PowerPoint 12 on slide 2, insert a clustered column chart inside the empty text box. Resize the chart data range to include only 2 categories and 2 series. Rename the categories as students and adults. Name the series can read, can't read. Insert the data from the text box on slide 2 called reading statistics. Wow. This question is long, huh? But it's very simple. All he's telling us to do is to create a chart, have 2 categories inside that called students and adults, and just change that into can read, can't read. So the data that we are looking at is the data which is already there on a particular slide. And we have to just use that data and create a chart in PowerPoint. That's what the question is all about. So when I look at charting in PowerPoint, just to let you all know, I never create a chart in Excel and bring it in PowerPoint. I never do that. Because what am I doing? I have one chart which I have saved in Excel. And I'm going to have one PowerPoint file which is going to be my presentation. Correct? First of all, why do I need 2 files? Why do I need an Excel file to create a chart? You say, sir, chart तो Excel में ही बनता है. Excel का फाइल का तो जरूरत पड़ेगा ही पड़ेगा. I am 100% agreeing कि चार्ट तो Excel में ही बनेगा. But because of Excel and PowerPoint and Word being from the same family, see, they are the same family, na? The Microsoft family. And because Word, Excel and PowerPoint are not only in the Microsoft family, but they are also the part of the same software known as Microsoft Office. The integration between them is so fantastic that whenever I need to create a chart in PowerPoint, I am going to create it in PowerPoint only. I will not create it in Excel. However complicated the chart may be, however complex it may be, I will not create it in Excel. So how do we achieve this? So in this case, he has told us, go to slide 2 and insert a chart which is going to have this data. Students and adults can read and can't read. When I look at this particular slide, I realize that there is a box over here. And in that box, there are various options given to me. Insert table, insert chart, insert smart art graphic, pictures, online pictures, insert video. I can just click this insert chart and I can insert a chart over here. That's what they have told me to do. But if I insert a chart over here, my chart will be only inside this small box. Just imagine. इतने छोटे बॉक्स में मैं चार्ट डालूंगा तो मजा थोड़ी आएगा. So I generally never use these boxes to insert anything in my PowerPoint slide. क्या होता है? You will say, sir, ये method PowerPoint का है, ये method software का है. I'm agreeing the method is there of software. I'm agreeing also it is a part of PowerPoint. But if it's going to limit the scope of me to be able to have a presentable chart, then why should I use it? इसमें पहले ही इतना डेटा है. Look at the slide, कितना डेटा है इसमें. अगर ये होता ना फर्स्ट स्लाइड तो मैं इधर यूज कर लेता, बिकॉज इधर जगह है मेरे पास. इधर जगह नहीं है मेरे पास, तो मैं यूज नहीं करूंगा वो बॉक्स, मैं डिलीट कर दिया. एंड व्हाट आई विल डू is I will first push this box a little up. Second, I realized कि यार ये जो data है, there are close to 42 million adults, ये blah 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 blah. This data is something which I'm going to speak. It is something which I'm going to present. People don't have the patience and time to read so much. People will read reading statistics. Students, adults can't read, can read. समझ में आता है. Every year there are at least 2 million adults. समझ में आता है. ये क्या है? ये इतना लंबा चौड़ा पैराग्राफ. You speak, no. Why you want people to read this? So I will cut this out from here. You say, sir, आप delete करते जा रहे हो content. मैं delete नहीं कर रहा हूँ. Watch करो क्या करता हूँ. I cut it out from here and I go to view, note pages, and what I do, I paste it here. Now, when the audience is going to come, remember I told you when the audience comes to my presentation, I always give them a printout of the note pages. I will give them this printout with this content down. So when I am speaking, they know what I'm talking because they can read it also if they want to. So what I have done, I have not deleted the matter from the slide. All I've done is put it on a note pages. It will not show on the screen, but people will have it on their hand to be able to read as I am speaking in case they did not follow my reading or in case they did not follow my speech. This is how I organize my slide and this is how I create so much place for a chart. Now I'm going to insert a chart. So I will go to insert like he said and I will choose chart and he told me you have to insert a 2D clustered column chart. This is what it is. I've got a 2D clustered column chart over here. This is my chart and I'm going to click on OK and I will get a beautiful chart on my slide. Look at that. What a nice big size chart. I'm just going to move it a little bit and place it over here. So I realized that the placement is perfect. It has fitted beautifully on my slide. See, this would not have, would this be possible if I would have kept the text? Not at all. And as soon as I insert this chart, you will realize that I've got one more window which has come. And this window is nothing but your Microsoft Excel. This is my Microsoft Excel. I did not save an Excel file and I'm not going to save an Excel file also. But my data is going to be saved in an Excel file without physically having an Excel file. It is got incorporated inside my PowerPoint as an Excel object. That's what we call it. We call it an Excel object. So he said, "Okay, I've given you a chart and I've given you 4 categories." I said, "नहीं, मुझे 4 categories नहीं, मुझे 2 categories चाहिए." So I will go to this Excel ka file. As you all can see, I can stretch and make this window bigger. You can see I made it bigger so that I can see it more. I don't need the side part, but ठीक है. इसका squarish बना के इसको जहाँ चाहिए move कर सकता हूँ. And he says, I have got how much category? I have got only 2 categories. यहाँ पे 3 है. I'll make it 2. Can read, can't read. And I've got only students and adults. I'll make it 2. Understand, I did not delete my data. I only dragged this. My data changed. If I have this data or don't have this data, it does not matter. Even if it is there, it is harmless. Because my chart does not show all this data. So I will change my category 1 into students, change my category 2 into adults. I will change my series into can read and change my series 2 into can't read. I'll change my 4.3 80%. I'll change my 2.4 to 20%. I will change 2.5 to 65% and I will change 4.4 to 35%. Just look at this. And I close this. And I get a chart showing me my data. And then I realize, अरे इधर गड़बड़ है कुछ. ये इतना बड़ा कैसे हो गया? मतलब, while I was putting data or punching data, I must have done a mistake. How do I correct it now? I'm not in Excel, I'm in PowerPoint. As soon as I click my chart, I get a design option at the top. And you'll be surprised to know people who are doing Excel will realize and who are not done also might be knowing that there is a new bar called design which has come up. देखो, ये design नहीं था पहले. ये देखो नहीं है. अब नहीं है design ऊपर. कहाँ है design? है ही नहीं इधर. Help के बाद design कहाँ है? But as soon as I click the chart, I get the design option. And I realize यार कहीं पे मैंने डेटा में गड़बड़ किया है यार. So I go to edit data. And there I am. I am back, yeah. And when I come back over here, I realize suddenly my bars have become okay now. I say, wow, just edit it, मेरा data proper हो गया. I'll close my chart. खत्म हो गया. I got a chart in PowerPoint without going into Excel, and I changed the existing chart into the chart that I wanted. So question B speaks about a chart which is already existing. He says PowerPoint 04 on slide 3 format the competition chart to show the data labels at best fit. चलो भाई, ये क्या है अभी? See, every chart has got something we call elements. Elements are nothing but different parts of a chart. So when I open my PowerPoint 04, as you can see the slide, and I go to slide number 3, there is already a chart which is given to me. It is a pie chart. This pie chart right now has got a title. It has got a pie with different colors. And it has got something which we call as the legend. These different colored boxes which you see over here, white, pink, beige, gray. These colored boxes along with the names is what we call as legend in a chart. So when I go to the design option, which I told you automatically comes. Under design, one thing I taught you was the edit data, that you can go back and anytime change the data of your chart. Along with this, we have something known as the add chart element. These are the different elements that my chart is consisting of. Every chart does not have all the elements. For example, अभी हम ये chart देख रहे हैं. इसमें elements grayed हैं. Lines are grayed. Trend line is grayed. Up, down bars are gray. Data table is gray. Legend is active. Data labels is active. Chart title is active. Chart title is already there called competition. अगर मैं none बोल दूंगा तो मेरा वो chart title चला जाएगा. Automatically chart भी थोड़ा बड़ा हो गया, उसको legend overlap कर रहा है. Then I go and say, okay, chart title, अच्छा legend जो है उसको मुझे on top चाहिए, ठीक है, on top आ गया. So I move these 4 boxes on top. So legend also can be repositioned. Chart title, I want to bring it back. I say, चल आ जाओ वापस. तो chart title आ गया. Legend is below that, ठीक है. I'm happy this way, no problem. And then I say, okay, I want to, what are these colors? That is the data, yeah. But what is it? Where is the value? ये इसका value क्या है ये white का? So I go to my chart element. I say, oh, I have to activate my data labels. And I say, okay, center. I'm very happy I got my percentages, but just look at it. It looks so shabby. Overlapping each other, big font size. Maza nahi aaya. So I said, I didn't enjoy this. So let's do one thing. Let's try to change the position of our legend and see. Isko, हाँ, अब थोड़ा better है. Circle is a little bigger, numbers are a little more visible, but still they are overlap. So I say, okay, let's go back to chart element. And I go back to data labels, and every single chart that I have, the software is always there to help you. So he says, यहाँ पे best fit का option है. आप best fit ले लो, देखो कितना beautifully आपका data present होगा. There is no overlapping. The visibility of the data is there. And I have a complete chart with a nice title, with my legend on one side, the pie on one side, and the label on the pie. These are what we call as presenting your chart in a complete manner. What is the definition of a chart? A chart is nothing but a graphical representation of data. That's the definition of a chart. So I know that the chart is a graphical representation of data. If I did not put on my labels, my data has got converted into a graphical pie. But where are the values? आदमी को पता कैसे चलेगा कि ये इसका मतलब क्या है, ये पाई का मतलब क्या है? Why is it there? People will say, हाँ, it is showing competitive dance, open competition, dance, sport, single style. हाँ, agreed. It is showing you this. But what is the extent of competitive dance? What is the extent of open competition? वो दिखाना जरूरी है ना? So we have to use the element known as data labels purely to show what is the data you are trying to project to the audience. After I've done this, I realize that I need to show the table. So I go to quick layout and I try to see if I can show the table. And I realize कि यार ये तो बाकी सब कुछ आ रहा है, but मेरा table यहाँ आ ही नहीं. Whenever you are using a chart which is a pie chart, in the case of a pie chart, you cannot display the table. Then you say, ठीक है, pie नहीं करना है, चलो कुछ और करना है, चार्ट को चेंज करना है. तो क्या करूं मैं? डिलीट करके वापस नवा चार्ट क्रिएट करूं? नहीं, वो तो बहुत ज्यादा काम हो जाएगा. So what I do, I go here to change chart type, and a window comes up asking me, what happened? You're not happy with the chart. What do you want to do with it? I say, please convert my chart to a column. Okay. And please convert it to a 3D column so that it looks better. Okay. And I say, okay. The chart now has become a 3D column showing me the data, but it's very cluttered because the data, look at it, how it is sticking to each other. Why is that happening? What has happened to this chart? But when I converted it to this chart, I got the option which you were asking me. Here it is. अब बोलोगे क्या हो गया सर, ये तो पूरा खिचड़ी हो गया, ये तो एक के ऊपर एक के ऊपर एक. आपने बोला here it is, ये तो पूरा it's become a mess. That is why, if you remember the first thing I told you, the size of a chart is very important. ये जो मेरा डेटा है ना, again बहुत ज्यादा है. अभी to show it to you all, I'm just pushing it for now on top only. This chart na has to be much larger. To change the size of my chart after it has been created, I will go to design, or I'll go to format, even better, and I'll see if I can change the size. And here I got my size option. You can see width is 12.42. I'll go into size and I will say I want to lock aspect ratio. ये बहुत जरूरी है, lock aspect ratio. ये करना बहुत जरूरी है because you are locking the width and the height, so they will scale equally. And I will scale this chart and I'll say I want the width to be much more. I want the width to be, let's say, 15. And you'll realize suddenly your chart is started. Suddenly your chart is started looking a little better with the data becoming more and more prominent. When I have a chart like this, like a, you can say, columnar chart, in that I get the option data table, where it tells me I will show you the data table. अब जैसे ही उसने डेटा टेबल डाला, आपका चार्ट देखो कितना छोटा हो गया. So if you want your chart and data table to be there, you need your chart to be as big as the slide and not have this data on the slide, and just have the chart as the data on the slide. Now see, now I'm able to see everything properly, isn't it? अभी भी देखो ये प्रॉब्लम है, क्लिक टू ऐड टेक्स्ट, ये बॉक्स है, इसको निकालना पड़ेगा. हाँ, now it's all clear. Now my chart is visible along with the table down, along with all the 4 categories. I can go to design, I can make this look a little more attractive. Like this. Suddenly you realize, अरे वाह, अभी तो चार्ट काफी अच्छा लगने लगा है. जैसे मैंने ये ऑप्शन चूज किया, लास्ट वाला ये ऑप्शन चूज किया, are looking better. I can look at this. Look at this. The perfect. So clean and neat now. Giving that 3D effect. Each box is clear. The numbers are visible properly on top of them. The titles are proper. The table is also come. And the x-axis and y-axis are also very well set. It says PowerPoint 05. On slide 3, change the chart type to clustered bar. That means in this particular presentation, PowerPoint 05, there is already an existing chart, that means. And he's telling us to change that chart to a bar chart. So I'm opening up PowerPoint 05. You should be able to see it. I already have an existing chart over here. You all can see this chart. And he told us to basically just change the chart type to a bar chart. It's right now columns. Very simple. I'll go to design and I will simply say change chart type and I will choose bar and I will say okay, and there it is. Done within a second. This is how you can change the type of your chart by just going to the chart, going to design and choosing change chart type, and it becomes a bar chart from a column chart. Any chart you can change like this. I can take anything. I can take a line also if I want. I can take a pie if I want. I can take area. I can take map. There's so many charts which I can apply. PowerPoint 05 on slide 3. Apply the shape, style, colored, outline, orange, accent 1 to the chart. चलो भाई ये क्या है? He's telling us to apply the shape, style, color, outline, orange, accent 1. Such a long name. It's nothing. It's very simple actually. It's just one particular format he's telling us to apply. So PowerPoint 05, I've come to the chart. You should be able to see it now. And I need to change the style of this chart. I'm not going to go to chart styles because I'm not going to find it here. Style 3, style 4. He said something to do with orange. So I'll go into something known as format this time. Under format, I've got something known as shape styles. And here I've got the style. Colored, outline, orange, accent 1. This is the style he told me to apply. Look at that. The chart looks very nice with the color theme matching the slide. The slide combination was orange, white, and gray. Now the slide also has got an orange color outline with a white background. That's why he told me to choose that orange. You can choose any of these to enhance your charts. Look at that. It's quite beautiful. The way you can enhance the backgrounds of your chart. This has got a bevel effect to it. I love using these options. See, it really makes your chart, your chart looks very stylish when you use these options. So this what I'm doing is I'm doing from format, not from design, just to let you all know. Same way I've got this text over here. If I select all the text over here, I can go to my word art and say, what if I want my text to be like this or like that or like this or like this or in orange? I can apply these effects to the text of my chart also, depending upon, I'm just showing you rough, depending upon how your chart is placed and what are the color combinations and stuff like that. Accordingly, you can choose a effect. Again, under format, I chose the word art styles. He says PowerPoint 10 on slide 5, format the chart to have a shape style of moderate effect purple accent 6 with a weight of 6 point. What does he mean by weight of 6 point? This style I showed you all just now. Weight of 6 point. Let's open PowerPoint 10 and understand what is he trying to tell us. Let's see what we have to do with this chart. So I've come to PowerPoint 10 and he says, come to this slide and oh, there is a chart and there's a table here which is purple color. So that's why he's telling us to change this chart style to purple. So I just now showed you all that you could change the chart style by going into format and choosing a style from here. And he tells us to choose something like this. I don't know whether he told us this one, colored purple accent 6. No, I think he told us to use moderate effect purple accent 6. Now the purple is matching of this particular slide. The table and the chart are matching each other. And here he told us also to add a weight of 6 points. What he means by that is that there is something known as a shape outline. कि भाई ये जो चार्ट है आपका उसको एक शेप आउटलाइन देना है और उसको prominent outline देना है. So under the shape outline I've got something known as weight. And under the weight I've got 6 points. When I choose 6 points, you will realize that the chart has got a beautiful shaded outline. The shading came in automatically. So now my chart, if you look at it, if I zoom it, you will realize that there's a nice outline which has come around the chart. थोड़ा dark है ऊपर, side में थोड़ा light है. That's happened because automatically, as soon as I increase the thickness of my outline, it showed this beautiful gradiency of purple to the chart. Before I go to question G, since we are already on a chart, on this chart viewer. So I told you that under design, there is something known as chart element. Under chart element, we have got something known as data table. Under this, you can activate your data table. He says PowerPoint 07 on slide 4. Format the chart grid lines on the primary horizontal axis to show major minor grid lines. हाँ, ये थोड़ा अजीब है, but ज़्यादा important नहीं है, but फिर भी use करते हैं हम. We use this option. I'll tell you why. And what is this actually? It's basically just a option which is more for presentations than for anything else actually. So if I have a chart like this, right? And let me just remove this element for now. Behind this chart, you are able to see these gray color lines. These gray color lines are called grid lines. So when I go to design and when I go to chart element, you will see there'll be an option over here known as grid lines, which will have 4 types: horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical. Right now, major is on. Major matlab jo मेरे मेन पॉइंट्स है 20,000, 40,000, 60,000, 80 लाख, सॉरी 60 लाख, 40 लाख, 20 लाख, ये जो मेरे मेन पॉइंट्स हैं उस पे ये मेजर लाइंस आ रहे हैं. As soon as I go for minor, it will come all over my chart, major and minor. Same way, I have a major and minor also for my vertical. कि भाई ये ऐसा vertical मुझे दिखाना है major और मुझे अगर vertical दिखाना हो minor. So he's showing me these lines in between, clearly telling me that there is a division here between these four over here, and he's put one line in the middle. This is my vertical line. So the grid lines sometimes are useful for people because they want to show every single point, because there are no numbers here. And numbers cannot be added here. It will become very cluttered. So they put these lines for people to just know approximately where these particular bars are right now. All right. So that's why they put these grid lines at the back. It's not a very relevant aspect, but yes, people use it in presentation of their charts. So I'm coming to question H. It says PowerPoint 06. On slide 2, change the chart layout to layout 4. Now, just like we have templates in every presentation, similarly for our charts also, we have got certain ready-made layouts or ready-made templates. The chart should look like that, chart should look like that. So in this particular presentation, I've got this particular chart, which is a very bland chart right now. And he says, you please change this layout of this chart by choosing layout number 4. So I go to design and I say, okay, I'll go to quick layout and I will choose layout number 4. Suddenly you realize your layout number 4 seems to be a little more interesting. The figures have appeared more. This text has become slanting. Like this, I've got various layouts. Layout 1 makes the chart look like that. Layout 2 will make it look like that. Layout 3. So it is not just the look of the chart. Understand that. It is also the elements of the chart. By now you must be understanding what I mean by elements. Huh? Data label हो गया, chart title हो गया, legend हो गया, आपके ये पीछे के क्या बोलते हैं, bars हो गए, grid lines हो गए. See, everywhere it changes. इधर देखो अलग आ गया, इधर फिर अलग आ गया. इसमें क्या है? इसमें ऊपर legend है, cost of each. इसमें cost of each legend नीचे आ गया. इसमें जाऊंगा तो क्या दिखाएगा? वो लाइंस निकाल दिया है इसने. इसमें लाइंस भी है, टेबल भी है, एवरीथिंग इज देयर. बट मेरा लेजेंड का है, लेजेंड इज गॉन. Legend is come down inside my table only, cost of each. So every time I go for a different layout, my elements also change along with the design. All right. So he said, do it 4. I'm just going to leave it at 4. That's the answer for this question.